Hey, hi everyone. Not yet. We are going to start now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Let me share my screen. Okay. So, hi guys, good evening. Thank you all for joining for the demo session on Generative AI and Agentic AI program.
तुमको पता है भाई कैसे वो जीडी नहीं का जीडी
Guys, please go on mute. Guys, do not unmute yourself unless you have a question, okay? So, raise your hand whenever you have a question and then I'll take that question, okay? Accordingly. Okay. So let's get started, guys. My name is Mujibur Rahman. I have been working as a AI ML engineer for the last many years. And for the last 3 to 4 years, I've been into generative AI, building reliable, scalable, and maintainable applications and deploying it for various clients. And I've also been training candidates for a long time now. Okay. So this particular course is one of the in-demand courses that is out there in the market, and people are offering it from bare minimum price to the maximum price. But the quality of the content will be different unless you have an industry expert. Of course, the quality of the content will be slightly different. Okay, all right. So that's about me, guys. We will kick start with the session. Um, I will discuss what all the things that we are going to learn in this course along with the projects that we are going to do it at the end of the course. And we will also see why you need to learn this particular course. What are the challenges that the companies are facing, okay, at this point of time. So before I kickstart, I want a couple of you to, unmute yourself and tell me why do you think you want to learn this particular course? Please go ahead, guys.
Yeah, I want to automate my daily work task at the office.
Okay, but for that you can use NA10, right? No code, low code, no code basically tool that you have.
Yeah, but to understand the anything, like we need to understand the use case, like how to use and how to get locked.
Got it.
So
Got it. So once you learn this particular course, guys, you can actually build your own applications. I'll talk about that. Yeah. Any other answers, guys, that you can talk about? Why do you think GenAI is such an in-demand course that every company is looking for a GenAI engineer and also paying huge amount of salaries? Yeah, please go ahead, guys. Be interactive, okay? I hope all of you guys are working professionals, okay? So when you guys are working professionals, you need to be really interactive. Any other answers?
As per industry standard in day-to-day work, we need to use AI,
Okay.
whether it is developer or testing or whatever.
Okay. So let us first have a look at the AI ecosystem, guys. I will make you understand what all things that we have in AI. And once you get the understanding of this ecosystem, probably you will not have any doubts what is what going forward. So let me just zoom out a little bit. Yeah. So this circle is very important for all of us. Okay. If you are somebody who is new to AI or somebody who has been using AI extensively, but you don't know what all things come under AI. Okay. So for all of you guys, let's have a look at this AI ecosystem. Okay. Just give me one moment. Excuse me, guys. Okay. So you have AI, guys, artificial intelligence. Okay, artificial intelligence. So basically, what is AI, guys? It's a branch of computer science, correct? And what do we do in AI? What do we do in AI, guys? So we build applications that mimic human behavior. Okay, in simple terms, what do we do with AI? We actually build applications that mimic human brain. Okay, so that's the high level idea of AI. But within AI, you have many other things. Okay, so for example, within AI, you have very important thing called machine learning. Okay, so have you guys heard of what machine learning is in the past? Okay, do you guys know, guys, what is machine learning?
Machine learning means analyze data pattern.
Yes. Okay. So I'll give you, I'll make you understand with a very simple example, guys. Have a look at this two pictures. Okay, you have a cat and you have a dog, and there's a person. Okay, this can be a kid. So this is a kid. Okay, so when a kid is growing up, what do? You actually show a picture of a dog and also a cat and many other animals, and regularly you will talk about the features of this dog and also the cat, and tell the kid that this is a dog and this is a cat. Okay, so you exclusively talk about the feature of that particular animal and you name it. Okay, so that's how kid over the period of time he will be observing the patterns of the dog. Okay, dog will have ears in this fashion, the dog's eyes would look something like this, so the way the dog barks will sound something like this, so this is how the dog will keep his tongue out. Okay, this is how the dog will be chained. Okay, this is the usual color of a dog. So all these things the kid will observe. Okay, when you actually show a picture of multiple dogs, so this is what a kid is going to observe. So that observation is nothing but identifying some features of that particular animal. So once it identifies that features of those animal, the kid will remember those features. Okay, so initially as a parent you will talk about, you will show the picture as well as you name it. You tell the kid that this is a dog, so you, whenever you see features of a particular animal in this fashion, you call it as a dog. Similarly, here at the bottom, you also show a picture of the cat and you talk about the features of this cat to the kid and you also name it as a cat. So when the kid sees these animals, okay, regularly over the period of time, and you also telling what each animal is called as, the kid is going to remember all these things. Okay, now as he grows, okay, as he grow older, so what happens when he grows older? Now you are not going to tell what that picture is. You remove the dog and you remove the cat name from the pictures. So whatever you do is you just ask this particular kid, you show the picture and you ask the kid to predict what this particular animal is. Similarly, you show this picture and you ask the kid to predict what this particular animal is. Okay, so if the kid has learned very well during his childhood about the features of these animals, then when the kid grows up, it will be easy for that particular kid to call this particular animal as a dog and the bottom animal as a cat. Okay, so same analogy works with the machine learning algorithms. So in machine learning algorithms, what happens is, this is an algorithm. Okay, this is your algorithm and you have the data. So you constantly show the data to that particular algorithm or machine learning model. So this model will look at the features of the data, try to understand the patterns in that particular data and learn about the data. Now tomorrow if you show new data to it, okay, tomorrow if you show new data to it, this algorithm will be strong enough to tell what that particular data is about. Okay, so let's say I have an algorithm. Okay, so that algorithm name is linear regression. Okay, so during the training you showed this particular algorithm about a particular data set, experience of a candidate and uh, his salary. Okay. So this is the data you've shown him. So for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, salary, let's say 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs, 14 lakhs. So this is the data this particular algorithm has seen during the training. So if a candidate has 1 year of experience, his salary would be 8 lakhs. If a candidate has 2 years of experience, his salary will be 10 lakhs, so on and so forth. So this is how the pattern, the linear regression algorithm or machine learning algorithm will learn. So if you see here, the pattern is for every year increase in the experience, there is a 2 lakh increase in the CTC. Similarly, here also from 2 to 3, there is again 2 lakh increase in the salary. From 12 to 14, again there is a plus 2 lakhs increase in the salary. So this is a pattern. For every year increase in the experience, there is a pattern this particular algorithm has seen. What is that pattern? 2 lakhs of salary being increased. So tomorrow, if you add a new candidate of 5 lakh, 5 years of experience, now you ask this particular linear regression algorithm or any machine learning algorithm, because of the pattern that it has identified in the data, it will be easy for it to just add some 2 to it and then tell this particular output for this candidate as 16 lakhs per annum. So this is how it understands the pattern inside the data, and will be ready to give answers on the data that it has not seen. Okay, so that's how machine learning algorithm work. So whether it is finding a numerical number or whether it is finding a categorical value, classifying a data animal as cat or a dog. Okay, so this whether it is a finding a number or a classifying any class. So this is how it understands the pattern. It learns some pattern inside the data, and it is going to identify the pattern and give the output for the data that it has not seen. Okay, so are you guys following along? Did you understand the meaning of machine learning and the purpose of machine learning is?
Yes.
Are you all following along? You understood, right, with the simple analogy what we do in machine learning algorithm? Okay. Now,
Even I
guys.
joined late. Can you please explain once again the machine learning part?
Okay. Not a problem. See, basically, you have AI. I was talking about AI ecosystem. Okay, so within AI, you have what is AI basically? So in AI, we build applications that mimic human behavior. Okay, or we build models that can do the job of a human being. Okay, better than the human being himself. Now, what is machine learning in the AI? Why do we have a machine learning, and what happens in the machine learning? So basically, in machine learning, what we do is it is a subset of AI. Machine learning, what is machine learning? It is a subset of AI in which it tries to learn the patterns inside the data, okay, and improve its performance over time. So when I say pattern, what kind of patterns it is learning in the data? I showed it with an example. So let's say this is a data set. Okay, this is a data set and this is a machine learning algorithm. Now, during the training, what is training? I'll tell you with an example. So this is a, and during when the kid was when the kid is like say 3 to 4 years old. So what a pay, guys, please go on mute. Okay, please go on.
माझा कॉल सुरू आहे इकडे खा.
Okay. So yeah. So when the kid is growing up, as a parent, we show the different animals and we talk about different features of those animals and we name it. Okay. So let's say if I am being a parent, if I show to this particular kid, say this is an animal, this is how the dog, this is called as dog. This dog will always keep his tongue in this fashion, and this is how it is tied. This is the type of ear that you will find in dogs, and these are the colors of eyes of a dog, and this is how it barks, and so on and so forth. So you talk about different features and you call it as a dog. Similarly, when you show a picture of a cat, you talk about the features of that particular cat and you call that particular cat as a cat. Okay, this particular animal as a cat to the kid. So during childhood, he learns through the parents. Okay, parents are teaching this particular kid to call what animal as what. Okay, now as this kid grows up, okay, so as this kid grows up, as a human being or as a parent, I don't have to tell this animal as a dog or a cat to this particular kid. I can just show the picture and the kid will himself identify whether that animal is a kid or a dog. Okay. Sorry, whether that animal is a dog or a cat. Okay. Why is kid able to do it? Because during childhood you taught him, okay, what to call a dog and what to call a cat. Okay. So this analogy works with the machine learning algorithms. In the similar fashion, just like kids learn, even machine learning algorithms learn from the data. Okay. So for example, this is your machine learning algorithm and you have a data about given experience. The model should predict the salary of a person. Okay. So let's say if this is the old data till here, this is your old data. Okay. So in the data, I tell my model that if a candidate has 1 year of experience, he will have 8 lakhs per salary, 8 lakhs of salary. If a candidate has 2 years of experience, he will have 10 lakhs per annum salary. 3 years, it will be 12, and 4 years, it will be 14. Okay. So this is the data that I'm showing it to the algorithm. Now this algorithm, based on the data, it will identify the pattern. What is the pattern in the salary? If you see, for every 1 year of increase in the experience, there is a 2 lakhs increase in the salary. So from 1 to 2, it has increased from 8 to 10. So 2 lakhs. Similarly, from 2 to 3, again 10 plus 2 is 12. Again 2 as the increment. Similarly, from 3 to 4, again from 12 to 14, 2 lakhs. So model has seen that for every 1 year increase in the experience, there is a 2 lakhs increase in the salary. So tomorrow, there is a new candidate that joins your company. Okay, now the model is trained. It has seen all your historical data. Now tomorrow a new candidate joins with the experience of 5 years and you will send this details to the linear regression or any other machine learning model. So given the pattern that it has learned previously, so from 4 to 5, there is 1 year of experience. So obviously, what is the salary of a 4-year-old? It is 14. So just increase plus 2 and then call that particular candidate as 16 lakhs per annum. So this candidate will have 16 lakhs per annum as the salary based on the pattern it has learned. Okay, so this is how models will try to understand the pattern in the data, and when you give new data to it, it will be able to predict something that it has not seen. So I'll show you an example. So if you go to this particular website, Orange Book Value, this particular website will give you an idea about how much how much you may get if you are trying to sell your car or a bike. Okay, so I'll just select I want to sell, okay, to individual, and I will select the category what I want to sell. So let's say I want to sell my car, and this is a Hyundai, and the model some random Creta, and this is of 2024, and let's say it's a petrol and it was driven some 20,000. Okay, now given these details, I will click on this check price. Okay, and it will give me some price for which I can sell my car. So how is it giving? It is given because of learning algorithms. Okay, now if you see, this car can be sold in between 9,61,000 to 10,21,000. So this is the range in which I can sell my car. So how is this being able to predict? It is being able to predict because there is an algorithm that is running internally. Okay, because of which you are able to see this kind of responses. Okay, so not only this, there are many applications that you see of machine learning in real time. So for example, if you book a ride, okay, on Rapido, or it could be Uber, or it could be Ola. So you will find something called as estimated uh, 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 estimated time of a driver, okay, reaching your spot. There will be some time that is being shown. So how do you think that particular time is being shown? It is being shown due to the algorithms that are constantly running inside that particular application. Okay, similarly, if you see Google Map, so even on Google Map, you will find the distance that you will be traveling and the amount of time that it will take for you to travel that particular distance. Okay, so again, the estimate it will give you. Similarly, in a locality, if you want to identify the house prices, okay, so you can still use these particular algorithms to identify the house price. Similarly, if you want to identify how much of the energy will be consumed by a particular state in a particular season, maybe summer, winter, or rainy season. Okay, similarly, what is the requirement of fuel consumption, okay, for a particular country during the war season. Okay. Similarly, if you want to identify if a person has a cancer or not cancer, diabetes or not diabetes, okay, or if you want to approve a loan or reject the loan. Okay. Similarly, if you want to classify an email as a spam or a ham means the correct email and spam means not so correct email. Okay. So how do you think all these things are happening? If you talk about let's say salary predictions, okay, or number of hours a particular candidate may study if he gets enrolled in a particular course in this particular institute. Okay, so all these predictions and the classifications can be done with the help of machine learning algorithms. Okay, that's the beauty of it. So are you all following along, guys? Everybody, any questions? Did you all understand what we do with machine learning algorithms? Can I get quick acknowledgement, guys?
Yes.
Please stop me, guys, if you are not understanding something. I will just repeat it. Okay, it's just a demo. Okay, we will have detailed classes as we go along. Okay, now when we have machine learning algorithms doing a job of predicting or classifying something, why do we have something called as deep learning? Okay, so can anyone guess why do you think we have something called as deep learning? Yes, any answers? You don't have to be correct, guys. Just try it. Okay, all of us came here to learn.
There is a limitation of machine learning that it can work on a relational data. So that's the reason deep learning came into the picture.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, that is one of the reasons. Great. Any other? I'll show you with the diagram. This will be very useful to connect. So let's say there is a data and this is a performance. Okay, on the x-axis you have data, on the y-axis you have performance. So as you add more and more data to the machine learning algorithms, okay, if you add more and more data to the machine learning algorithms, so their performance after a point of time, okay, so after a point of time their performance will become stagnant. Okay, so this will be stuck. So even if you give more data, there will be no increase in the performance of the ML models. So that's the biggest drawback. Okay, and the second drawback is, of course, it works mostly on the structured data. Okay, tabular data. That's the biggest problem. And if you talk about deep learning algorithms, the benefit of the deep learning algorithm is the more the data that you add, the better its performance will be. Okay, so it will keep on increasing its performance. The more the data that you add, so this side you are increasing the data. So the more the data you are adding, the performance is increasing. Okay, so this size is increase and this size is also increasing. So here the data is increasing, here performance is increasing on the y-axis. Okay, so this is the major difference. ML algorithms will become stagnant after a point of time, whereas deep learning algorithms will not become stagnant and they keep on increasing their performance if you add more and more data to it. Okay, that's the major difference. Second one is, as I said, this will work on tabular data. This works on tabular data. But what if your data is images? What if your data is audios? What if your data is text? Okay, what if your data is video? Okay, so for all these different data types, machine learning algorithms won't work well. That's why you have deep learning neural networks. Okay, so in deep learning, again, what is deep learning? It is a subset or a part of machine learning. So you have AI, within AI you have ML, and within ML you have deep learning. Okay, so in deep learning, you will be able to handle the different types of data sets. Okay, it is a subset of machine learning which increases its performance as you add more data to it. Okay, and the fundamental algorithm of a deep learning is this circle, which is called as perceptron. Okay, we will discuss mathematical concept of this perceptron as we go along. Okay, generally I ask these questions to the candidates during the interview. Okay, so what is perceptron? And from the perceptron, how did we evolve and started building neural networks with these kind of connections? So every circle that you see is a perceptron. But the fundamental thing, when the deep learning came into picture, this is the algorithm that started the deep learning, okay, which is called as perceptron. And you stack multiple perceptrons into multiple layers, and that connection is called as your neural network, okay, or multi-layer perceptron. Okay, so we'll discuss the concepts of these deep learning as we go along. Okay, now after deep learning, there was an advent of very important topic, which is called as generative AI, which is part of your deep learning. Okay, so it's a subset of deep learning. So in generative AI, what happens is you train models. Okay, you train models on the historical data. Okay, you train models on the historical data, and with that data, these generative AI models have the capability to generate new content altogether. Okay, so these generative AI, in generative AI, you actually create new content altogether. Okay, like your generative AI models can create new images that you have never seen before. It can create videos that you have never seen before. It can create audios. It can create songs for you, music for you. Okay, it can generate the code for you. Okay, it can generate the speeches for you. Okay, so all these things can be done with the help of generative AI. Okay, so how did generative AI come into picture? What was the reason that we have generative AI today? The reason is there is an architecture or a neural network in deep learning called as transformer. Okay, so because of this transformer architecture, using the transformer architecture, I will show you that architecture. Okay, so this is the architecture, transformer architecture. It was released in 2017 in a paper called Attention is All You Need. Okay, that was the paper released in 2017. So please concentrate, guys. This is very important. So if you listen to the next 15 minutes, you will have most idea about the basics of generative AI, I would say. Okay, so tomorrow if somebody asks you about generative AI, you should be able to easily answer about it. Okay, so this is a transformer architecture, guys, because of which currently what you see is the large language models. Okay, so with this architecture in 2018, this was released in 2017. So in 2018, Google, okay, Google came up with a large language model called BERT. Okay, so this is a BERT architecture that Google came up with. So to come up with this large language model, the first ever large language model was BERT. And this BERT was built with the help of this part of the transformer architecture. So they used encoder to build the BERT LLM. Okay, so later in 2019, OpenAI, there is a company or a startup at that time called OpenAI. They used this part of the architecture called decoder, and they came up with the first ever model called GPT. So what is the full form of GPT, guys? What is the full form of GPT? Guys, come on, guys. You guys are working professionals. You should be knowing this basic at least. What is GPT, guys?
Generative pre-trained transformer.
Yes, wonderful. Okay. Correct. So GPT is nothing but generative pre-trained transformer. See, it is taking the name of the architecture itself. Okay, so generative pre-trained transformer, it is a large language model built by OpenAI in 2019 for the first time. In 2022, they released an application called ChatGPT. Okay, so they released an application called ChatGPT that actually changed the entire world. Okay, so this ChatGPT, it itself indicates that you are chatting with GPT model. Okay, that's why it is ChatGPT, correct? So you're chatting with the GPT model, which is a large language model present inside this application. So whatever you are typing on ChatGPT, internally that data is going to the GPT model, and GPT model is returning the response stream. Okay, so in 2022, OpenAI released the ChatGPT application. Okay, they released the LLM in 2019 itself, but the application came in 2022. So now there are many large language models. Okay, so many large language models released by many other companies. Okay, so you have models called cloud models, which is a competitor for OpenAI from Anthropic. So Anthropic is a company which released cloud models, okay, that have the capability similar to OpenAI models. Today you use cloud AI, right? Cloud AI, this particular app. So this chatbot that you see is a cloud chatbot, correct? Internally, see, if you see this Sonnet, so it is one of the large language models that they have. Haiku, it is also another large language model. Opus, Fable 5. So all these are large language models. So you can select whichever you want and you can talk to them. Okay. So internally, every company uses the large language models in their applications, right? You have DeepSeek, you have Microsoft Copilot, okay, you have Perplexity AI, okay, you have ChatGPT, and so on and so forth. So you can create your own application also similar to ChatGPT or any. All you have to do is just use a large language model internally. Okay. From Meta, you have Llama models. From Facebook, all the models that you see is Llama models. And from Google, you have models, very famous models, Gemini models or Gamma models. Okay, so on and so forth. So many companies have started releasing their own large language models. So how do they train large language models? How much cost and resources go into that? We will discuss that in the actual course. Okay, so this is how we came into the large language models, and these large language models are strong enough to generate whatever you want. Let's say if I ask it to write the significance of learning generative AI in the contemporary world that actually help solve business problems. Okay, we are not learning this just to know what generative AI is. We want to learn this particular course to actually solve business problems in my company. Okay, so I'm asking this to be written by the ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, see how fast it is actually writing the text. Earlier, if you asked somebody to write some paragraphs, that particular person had to know good English. Okay, grammatically, he should have he needs to be very strong, and you would have a lot of content creators in the past that actually needed to write this kind of content, but nowadays you don't actually need it. This will be easily generated by the ChatGPT itself. See how well it has written, and gave you the answer within seconds. Now if I ask it to generate any image, okay, generate an image of a bike, okay, let's say some random. So see, it is actually creating an image. Right, so all these things are possible because of the large language models that are running inside this particular application. But of course, you will use these applications in the company to generate the code, okay, and use that code in your applications. But you don't use these applications, you don't show your data or sensitive information to these applications that are running on somebody else's server. Okay, so you need to protect your company's data. So you will not use these applications to expose company's information. You have to build your own application in the company that is actually scalable, maintainable, and it should be easily shipped across multiple environments. Okay, that's how you need to build your application. See how well it has actually created the image. Look at the capability of that particular large language model. Internally, it is using ChatGPT image model, I believe. Okay, so to create this kind of image, how well see it has created. Okay, so this is about the generative AI, I guess. In generative AI, we also have another concept called agentic AI, where we use multiple agents that will be talking to each other to complete a specific task. Okay, so we will discuss why do we need what is the purpose of agentic AI as we go now. So before I wrap up the session, guys, I will show you an application that I actually built.
Yes.
So that you will see, how the applications look like in real time. Uh, Okay. So this is a Gradio application that I built, guys. And to this application, you can ask questions related to RXIV papers. Okay, so this is a platform that will publish all the research papers. Okay, from that particular platform, I actually pulled 2 papers for this particular to interact inside this application. Okay, so I use the RAG concept, which I will tell you as we go along. Now I can ask any question to it. If there is some information that it has about that question, it will give the answer. Otherwise, it will say that I don't have an answer for that particular question. So similar to ChatGPT, you can also interact with this particular application. But when you are interacting, you can actually check many other platforms here. Okay, so for example, you have something called as Swagger endpoints. So instead of directly talking from the application's interface, so this is the interface, right, from which you are talking to the application. So let's say this is the interface which will be developed by the front-end developers. But as a back-end developer, if you want to test your feature, whatever the application that you build before you give it to the front-end developers, you can test it from the Swagger endpoint. So this is the endpoint. So from either you can ask from this endpoint or this endpoint, ask the question and get the answer generated. If it is working fine here, then that means your application is good enough to send it to the front end team so that they can build the front end part. And I have a Redis here. Okay, why do we need Redis, guys? What is the purpose of Redis database, guys? Can anyone tell me?
For caching purpose.
Correct. Okay. To cache the frequently asked questions so that I don't have to send those queries through the entire application again and again. Identify at the initial stage only. And then if the similar question is present in the database, I will just immediately return it to the candidate. So that way it will save lot of latency. It will reduce the latency significantly. And also you can use Redis to start one job. Okay, I will talk about that in the future. So let's go to some other thing. So this is the LangFuse platform. So whatever the interactions that you had with the application, you can actually trace it over here. Okay, so in the sessions, it will show you what all the questions that you asked and what is the responses that you got generated. Okay, and this is the airflow. Okay, see, I actually ran a pipeline. So using this DAGs, I can run a pipeline. So that pipeline will go to this ARXIV ArcSafe platform and pull some papers and extracts information from those papers, create the chunks and dumps it into a vector store. Okay, that is the pipeline that it does internally. We'll discuss that part also. So here I will run those pipelines. And this is my interaction. This is LangFuse, and this is my open search vector store where I store all my extracted information. Okay, and this is my Postgres where I store the metadata of my application. Okay, so rag user, rag password, and I can log in. Okay, so while it logs in, let me ask one simple question here and see how it works. Mm. So I'm asking what papers do you have in your knowledge base? Let's see if it is able to answer our query. It's loading. and I will show you the application that is running. Okay, so this is the application, guys, which is running in my local. Okay, so this is the code of that particular application. Okay, so I will come back to this place. It's still loading. Let me check. And give any answer. Let's. I'm just asking a simple question. What is wrong? The application is running here. Let me refresh it. Something is missing here, guys. I will have a look at it, why it is not generating the responses in the backend, and I will show you how this application works in the tomorrow's class. Okay, so after I run a question, how is that data being stored in Redis? Okay, this is an interaction that I had. Okay, 4 hours ago. See, so query was high, and this was the answer that it generated. Okay, so this is the cached response in the Redis. And in this particular Postgres database, I can see all the DAGs or the pipelines that I ran, okay, to extract the information from different papers. So these are the information. Okay. So these are the two papers that I actually pulled. Okay. So this was the paper name and this is the second paper name. Okay. So metadata of those papers, I stored it over here. Okay, so this is my endpoint. So let me ask from here, guys. Okay, so I will try it from here. Whether the problem is on the front end or the back end, we will be able to identify. So I will execute it from here. Yeah, if you see, I got the answer here. So that means my back end is working fine, but my front end is not working due to some reason. Okay, so I can go to LangFuse. I will see what all the questions that we ran so that we can check what exactly happened in our code. Yeah, if you see these are the questions that we ran. So this was the latest at 9:48. So I can go inside that and see what all things happened. If you see uh, what was the query, let's say hi, that was the query that I ran, and it pulled top 3 relevant documents from the vector store. This is a part of RAG, guys. I will discuss that these things in the upcoming classes, but you can actually see what all things happened, when you sent a question to the application inside. Okay, so what all the things happened, you can actually log it over here. So tomorrow, if there is some issue occurred, you can actually come and identify what was the issue that occurred over here. Okay, so you can also run evaluations here, how well your application is working by creating the ground truth and the generated response. Okay. You can upload your data sets here. You can create the experiments, so on and so forth. Okay. So this is one data set that I actually uploaded in the past. Okay. With only one row. Okay. So in the actual class, we will build this, okay, from the scratch, guys. I will teach DAG and Airflow at a high level, not at a low level. Okay, because it will be 3 months course. So I will start from Python. Very important, guys. The foundation is very important. Without foundation, even if you learn generative AI, it makes no sense because most of the concepts or the frameworks that generative AI has, like LangChain, LangGraph, or deep agents, or LangSmith, LangFuse, all of them are built on top of Python. Okay, so Python is very important. So after Python, we will learn statistics. Okay, so statistics is very important because machine learning under the hood is statistics. And we learn EDA, exploratory data analysis. Okay, so I will show you that picture. Let me show you here what all things that we're going to learn. Yeah, so we will start off with Python statistics. Then we will discuss machine learning. Okay, and we will discuss after that, we'll discuss deep learning and natural language processing, and of course, generative AI, Agentic AI, and MCP, and also evaluation and the LLMOps. Okay, so this is very important. Building an application nowadays, you can do it with vibe coding. Okay, but how do you evaluate that application and how do you deploy that application? Okay, so that you should be knowing, like concepts like Docker, Kubernetes, CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so writing unit test case, all those things you will be taught. Okay, so that's the course, guys, at a high level.
Sir, as per a developer's perspective,
Mm.
.NET or Java developer, so which is the most important concept in this course will be completed?
I would say generative AI,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
because most of your tasks can be automated with the help of generative AI. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. For all the IT guys that are non-AI, they can actually learn generative AI, because this course itself is about generative AI mostly. Okay, machine learning and deep learning we will cover what is required, but our most of the focus will be on building GenAI based applications.
Okay.
Okay.
So for example, suppose I work as a .NET developer currently,
Okay.
but now I also need to learn Python languages, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll tell you guys, Python is one of the easiest language, I would say. It's one of the easiest languages. Okay, anybody can learn that particular language. Okay, so we will learn it from the scratch. Okay, I will start from right from variables till you end up knowing decorators. Okay, inside then you will also be covered oops concepts. Okay, so you will learn all those things, guys. Once you are good with Python, mostly I take almost 3 weeks to complete Python. Python is something that I focus a lot. Okay, once you know Python, then it's all just code that you use to understand rest of the concepts. Okay, so Python is mandatory after the stats, because machine learning under the hood it uses stats, and then EDA. EDA is basically at a high level. How do you clean the data which is ready for the machine learning training? Then we will talk about deep learning, NLP, and the generative AI.
Yeah. Sir, like I'm from the completely non-IT background. Okay.
Mm.
So will that be easy for me to understand these concepts and learn onto this?
How long have you been working in non-IT?
I can say like I've been like I used to work as a Windows admin engineer in past like 10 years back, but after that I started my career into staffing side, okay, recruitment side, and I've been on the same field for almost like 10 years.
Okay, so I would say the stress that you're going to have at staffing will be higher than learning Python or generative AI concepts. It's very, very easy for a guy who handled the stress of staffing or any other stress-based job. Learning Python or generative AI concepts will be very, very easy, guys. You guys have come thus far, so learning these things will be minuscule for you. If you are a
Okay.
fresher, I would not guarantee that, because the freshers' capability will be different from the working professionals. So working
Yeah.
professionals have been surviving in the industry in one way or the other. So they will have the capability to learn all these things. Because when I started, I worked in BPO. Okay. My first company was Genpact and I worked in a BPO. But later I moved to the AIML part. Okay. So how did,
Okay.
because I was not even a computer science graduate, but I learned Python so well that it's easy for me to build any applications nowadays.
Mujeeb, I have a question.
Yes,
So in this course, RAG, MCP,
yes,
LangGraph, these all will be covered, right?
yes.
And which cloud platform we are using, like Azure, AWS,
I
anything,
will show you on AWS.
anywhere?
Yeah.
AWS. Okay.
And these statistics and Redix, RAG, these all concept related to generative AI.
Redis is a database, which is a software engineering thing. RAG is, yes, it's a part of generative AI. Statistics is a part of your entire course. Okay.
Mhm. In the
One more
agentic
thing.
AI, what will cover here?
In Agentic AI, we cover LangGraph and deep agents that are actually being used in the companies. Okay, so they are creating agents, and within that agents, they are creating something called as sub agents. You might have not heard of it. There's something called as sub.
Multiple agent.
Correct. Not multiple
Yeah.
agents. Multiple agents is different, sub agent is different. So there is a concept in LangGraph called sub agents. Okay, so we are
Okay.
companies, people are building sub agents, and also for each sub agent, the skill file. So there are a concept called skills. Okay, so when
Mhm.
you get into that course, you will understand more about those things. Okay,
Is the autonomous agents or the semi-autonomous agents is covering?
we will cover both. We will cover workflows and also autonomous agents.
Means by completing this course, you can able to create the agent.
Yes, of course. You will actually be able
Okay.
to build a real-time project if you thoroughly follow the
Mhm.
end. And I'm telling you guys, as a working professional, it's very, very easy to transition into a generative AI based job and get a huge hike in your salaries. Okay. So let's say if you are somebody working in .NET, identify the problem in that .NET that you're working for, or maybe a project that you're working on. Try to solve that project by creating an application for your own self. But when you go to the interview, tell them that this is the problem I solved for my previous company, and they are not going to come and check your company, right? They will just ask whether or not this guy worked for that company. That's it. No company goes internally and ask for what this guy has done, what is the application that he's built. During the interview, what they check is what have you built, how much knowledge you carry, and how much value you may add it to the team. That's all they look for.
Mhm.
The thing like I am like last 10 years I'm working in integration side.
Mm-hmm.
So SAP, Azure integrations, these all things.
Okay.
Now the thing like my manager is pressurizing to learn Agentic AI.
Mm-hmm.
So so he's not asking Gen AI. He is asking only especially in Agentic AI. Why? Because it is look like some more integration side only, the data and everything, the pipeline concepts and everything. So this course will help to me to learn Agentic AI more.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say this harsh thing, guys. If a manager is asking you to learn agentic AI and he is not focused on generative AI, that means he doesn't know what generative AI is. Without generative AI, there is no agentic AI. So you should know what
But
generative AI.
what happened here, na? The thing like whatever the models and everything,
Mm,
the different teams are building. Just what we are doing as integration, we need to use those things. For example, let's say APIs is there. APIs will built by some other team. So as
mm,
integration, we will connect those APIs to from front end in the
okay.
middleware type.
Mm,
Like
mm-hmm.
the, now you understand, I think, what I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah, got it, got it. So this will definitely help you. The agentic AI part that we're going to learn, it will give you ideas how you can incorporate this concept in your current project, or you can also propose it a new idea altogether to them.
Mujeeb, I kept my question here in the chat. Can you please?
How are these generative AI, agentic AI, RAG AI model are interlinked, and how are traditional web applications and web can get a correlation? So how are these generative AI, agentic AI, RAG? So basically, in generative AI, you have a concept called LLM. Okay, so the generative AI entire study came because of the large language models. So LLM is a part of AI model which you are referring to, which is an LLM is a part of generative AI. And these AI models, LLMs have limitations. What is that limitation? They have knowledge cutoff. Okay, some models are trained till 2023, some are trained till 2024, some are trained in 2025. So if you are asking a current information, they will not be able to give you the answer. So to overcome that problem, okay, so there is a concept called RAG. Okay, so using these LLMs in your company, you can also use a concept of RAG to pull information from somewhere else and give it to the LLM because it doesn't have a context to give the answer. So the limitation of LLM is being overcome with the help of RAG concept, which we will discuss. And agentic AI. So sometimes you need multiple LLMs, okay, and each LLM will be assigned with particular task because you don't want to overwhelm one LLM with all the tasks. Let's say one LLM, I'm giving at a high level. Basically, when I say LLM, it's an agent. Okay, agent is using the LLM with tools. So one agent will be responsible to get some information by doing the Google search research. Okay, that LLM is designed only to do that job. So when you design an agent to do only one specific job, it will master it. Okay, just like human beings, if you ask me to do one job regularly, I will be able to master it. Okay, and I will identify ways that I can complete the job faster and in an efficient manner. But if you ask me to do 10 things at the same time, I will not be doing the perfect things, all that perfect. I will not be perfect in all those 10 things. So that's why we divide the bigger task into multiple smaller tasks and we assign those smaller tasks to different agents so that they can complete it by interacting with each other. Okay. Let's say there is a agent whose responsible is to pull the information from a particular article on Deccan Chronicle. And the moment that agent pulls that article, that entire information you will pass it to some other agent. And what does this second agent do? It will summarize the entire information pulled by the first agent. And what the second agent, once the summarization is done, it will forward that information to the third agent. And this third agent maybe write an email on behalf of a person and just forward that email to all the other multiple email accounts. Okay, because you actually designed it to do that part. So bigger task is being divided into smaller task and you're asking agents to do it. That's the agentic AI.
Which AI do you use?
The large language models.
Okay.
Yeah, so the large language models, if you're referring to AI models, there are many large language models that we can use. Models from OpenAI you can use. If your company is providing OpenAI models, you can use. But mostly nowadays companies are using AWS Bedrock models. So on Bedrock, it's a platform or a service where you have many large language models, right from cloud. It also has Titan models and it also has Llama models. Okay, so you can use whichever models access you have in your company. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing, hello.
Yes.
In the AI, we are using the any advanced neural networks on or the working on the neural networks only.
Adversarial neural networks we are actually not going to cover because that is not required for us to land a job in generative AI. Okay, so what we will cover is we will cover the artificial neural network followed by convolutional neural network CNN to handle images. Then we discussed recurrent neural network to handle the sequential data like text or voice. And then the problem of RNN will be solved by LSTM and LSTM's problem will be solved by GRU. And then you have a concept called encoder decoder with attention and then the transformer, and after that you have LLMs. So that's the connection.
Mujeeb, I have just a question. If I have 8 years of experience in .NET, till the date I never see the how AI works and all those things. If I follow you blindly next 3 months, so enough to switch career to .NET to AI developer?
Absolutely. I can guarantee you that if you are able to strongly follow, you build the applications and you followed the roadmap that I give you. There are many students of mine who were freshers. They actually worked in small startups. They landed jobs in bigger companies like Pfizer. Okay. So, and experienced candidates, it's very easy for them. There are people who landed a job in EY. Okay. And there are candidates that landed job in Capgemini, Cognizant. So yeah, if you follow it religiously, I can guarantee you that you will be able to crack any job in any. Yeah.
Also, are we covering prompt engineering in this course?
Yes, guys, you need to understand that there is something called as a marketing strategy to sell a course called prompt engineering. Okay, so prompt engineering is just a small part of generative AI. Okay, so when I show you what different prompt engineering techniques are on Collab and how it will affect, okay, different prompting strategies that we need to follow and how it affects our output. So I will show you with the different tactics. So it's a small part of generative AI. Okay, it's not a bigger course. So we have concepts like one-shot prompting, zero-shot prompting, few-shot prompting, chain of thought prompting, react prompting, tree of thought prompting. So these are different types of prompting techniques that we need to be knowing, because we can use these techniques when we actually build our own application. Okay. So you can discuss that with Pradeep. You can discuss course fee with the admin team. Okay, they
Mujeeb
will.
sir, sorry to interrupt you. I have
Yes.
one question. So in the photo which is there in the group,
Mm.
there we mentioned that we are going to take the cloud, which is Azure, right? So, and when we were discussing, you said that AWS is also there. So I'm a bit confused, like with which cloud we are going
I will
to
be
do the
using
deployment.
it. Although it's mentioned Azure, that's fine. Most of the companies use AWS. Okay, it's
Okay.
fine. You know, AWS services, there are similar kind of services present in the other clouds also. So it's just a different names, but the purpose will remain the same.
Okay, sir. And one more question, follow-up, which is related to the monitoring and logging. So for
Yeah.
monitoring and logging,
Hmm.
which tools we are going to,
I will
take?
I will show you Langsmith. I will also show you Langfuse, okay, which I already showed you a few minutes ago. And there is another tool called MLflow, and there is another tool called Logfire. Okay, so there are many tools. So depending on the access in that particular company, you can use any tool that you like. So for every tool, there is a documentation. So once you start understanding the course and how the documentation look like, how do we take the code from the documentation and incorporate in our applications? So you will start building the applications even tomorrow if there is a new framework that comes. Okay, let's say similar to LangGraph, somebody comes and says pipe graph, and they will release their documentation how to build AI agents with the help of pipe graph. All you have to do is just go through their documentation, understand what are the different concepts that they brought in that documentation. If you are not able to understand, take that link, give it to ChatGPT, tell it that how what are the concepts that they have brought that are not there in the LangGraph. Please explain me in a language that I'm comfortable with. Explain me in Telugu, I'm comfortable with. Explain me in Hindi, I'm comfortable with. So understanding those concepts in a language that we easily understand is a is a better thing than trying to understand everything in English. So later when you read it after knowing in your language, you just have to go through the documentation again and you will be able to relate things. So that's how I actually learn things. If I feel something very tough through the documentation, I take that concept, give it to ChatGPT, and I'll ask it to explain that concept with an example, like a kid to me, and it will explain it to me, and then I will have better understanding of those concepts. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem.
Hi,
Some
Mujeeb. Just a question from me. I'm already working as a DevOps professional, Mujeeb. Almost I have 5 years experience.
Hmm.
So I just want to move into AI. Is this the right course? Uh,
Absolutely. Absolutely. You will become a full stack AI engineer in that case. Once you know the AI application, how to build the AI application, and you will have a very good demand in the market because you are somebody who can actually deploy the application, monitor it, know things about infrastructure, and you will also be knowing how to build AI based applications. So you will become a one strong candidate for the companies and you can demand more money as well. So when I actually shifted my companies, that's how I actually demanded. Okay, so there's a company called Persistent System which I worked for, okay, for a couple of years, and I learned both. I had the experience of the DevOps side where I built and deployed the application. I ran the application inside the Kubernetes pod. I just identified the logs inside the pods and create the containers and then deploy them inside a pod of a Kubernetes cluster, scale them up, scale them down. So all those concepts I actually learned it and I explained it to the interviewer in the next interview. And I actually demanded more money and then I got it. That's how things work.
And your
Thank you.
current company, sir?
I'm working at Virtue, sir. Yeah, Chiranjeevi, if your question is whether or not we cover all these concepts, yes, all of the concepts will be covered. Crew AI, instead of Crew AI, we will have LangGraph, okay? Llama Index. These are similar things, Llama Index and MCP. Sorry, not Llama Index and your Crew AI and LangGraph. These are frameworks, even LangChain. So if you know LangChain and LangGraph, that is more than sufficient. You don't have to know the Crew AI part.
Yeah, so I want to understand which like classification, like which module comes under which domain, like that. Like in agentic AI, we have sub agents, those topics, right? So this is really confusing. I think everyone has this doubt. So
Yeah,
if
that's what.
you can explain that classification and its subtopics, that will be really helpful
Yeah.
before starting.
Okay. So basically, this is just a demo, right? So tomorrow I will give you the each of the topics, brief of each of the topics that we are going to cover. Topics, okay, not the high level curriculum. Like
Okay.
what do we have in LangChain, what all things we cover, what is that we have in LangGraph. So in the LangGraph itself, we have the subagents concepts, skills concepts, okay. And in the LangChain part, there is something called as deep agents. So what is the difference between LangChain, LangGraph and deep agents? So all those concepts we will cover.
Okay. Fine.
All right, guys, I think we actually extended the class. We will connect tomorrow, guys. If you have any questions, you can bring them up tomorrow and then I'll take it up.
Just a question. The class timing is 9 to 10.
Yeah, 9 to 10. Yes, Sachin.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining and we will
Thank
catch.
you.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Bye.
Any quiz regarding any discussion? Hello.
Yes, Mahesh.
Yeah, any fee regarding questions and discussion are there. So means how I contact towards any person or the only saying what is the fees and also the
Mahesh, I don't know if I catched or your question. Can you repeat it? I could not understand your question. What was that?
means any discussion about the fees and all things.
Okay. These people will reach out to you. Okay, the admin team will reach out to you tomorrow over the call. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone.